I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. The Shakespeare Festival has been with us for 2 seasons now, and with it has come a real excitement for the city of Winona. It's kind of like the circus coming to town in the old days, only this lasts for 5 weeks. With it comes only not 2 great plays written by Shakespeare himself, but a whole troop of people who are willing to participate in interesting conversations behind the scenes as well as at the local coffee shop. It also provides workshops and a front porch conversation series with leaders in the art world. And the most delightful happening it brings, I think, are the prelude concerts. Back in the middle of the season of 2005, I spoke with one of the producing directors, Mark Hauk, to find out just how the festival is fitting into the Winona community.
On Shakespeare Avenue, while the streets are stage, she watches people on their way, dreaming up scenarios of Juliets and Romeos. And if she never finds the words, at least she's found that part of her that's all her own.
We're right in the midst of the Shakespeare Festival. Tell me how it's different from last year and what's going on this year.
Well, I think one of the biggest differences is that we have a year under our belt, and so the community has gotten to know us a little better, and we've gotten to know the community. The level of community involvement has increased tremendously in the last year. We went from a small group of dedicated volunteers, 20 or 30, to over 200 community volunteers who are involved in some way with the festival, whether it's ushering or helping in the office or helping provide meals for the company when they have 2 shows in a day and they have to get a quick dinner in between. One of the exciting projects this year was the Front Porch Art Exhibit that was coordinated by the Friends of Will, which is our volunteer group. They sent out a call for entries, and we had over 90 artists submitting almost 200 pieces of art that were juried, and we selected works by about 30 artists that were all on the theme of front porch. Not literally a front porch, but what front porches mean metaphorically, gathering places where we share stories, where people spend a leisurely evening. There's a wonderful quote where grief is spent, where love flourishes. So we wanted people to reflect on that idea of what is the gathering place of the front porch and what does it mean to you. And that art exhibit has been very popular. People have sold work out of it. So that's a really exciting thing. And we've actually even teamed with the Winona Art Center to promote their summer art gallery as well. So we're really trying to find connections to some of the other amenities in the area. But that front porch art exhibit was a really exciting new part that came directly out of the community.
Well, Mark, give me some statistics. What might be different this year at this time compared to last year at this time?
The festival has grown this year. We're now 2 weeks out from the end of the season, and our total ticket sales are equivalent to what our total season sales were last year. So we're expecting a growth of between 20 and 25% in total ticket sales. Participation in the education programs has increased a lot as well. We had 17 teachers involved in our teachers workshop this year, which was doubling over last year, and the Front Porch series has grown tremendously as well. I think one of the other things that's changed is that the festival's finances are beginning to be more secure. We have a challenge grant from the Winona Community Foundation to raise $100,000 to be matched by the foundation. And that has really helped us do some long-range planning so that we can look out over the next several seasons and figure out how can we grow our audience, how do we create the kind of base that will make it possible for the festival to be here long-term and know that we can grow here.
From my observation, you have really been absorbed into the community. It seems like the community is just so excited about having you here. How do you feel about it this year?
Well, I'm feeling more at home in Winona as well. During the winter, I'm here 2 or 3 days a week, and then starting in March, I'm here full-time through August. And so I feel like I'm getting to know Winona a little bit better, which is great. I think that the community also has kind of discovered that this isn't some weird alien object that's landed from outer space in their town, that it's really something that they can get behind and support. A lot of people have participated either by going to the plays or coming to the prelude concerts and have discovered that there's something here for them. One of the things that I love is that we're seeing a lot of involvement from the surrounding farm communities as well, which is very, very exciting to us. We have the master gardeners bringing flowers, for example, to our lobby. So there are lots of ways in which the festival and the community are beginning to work together, and people are discovering that there's a little bit that they can give to the festival and something that the festival can give back, and that's very exciting to me.
Okay, now you mentioned the prelude concerts, and that's really my favorite part of the whole event. And these are wonderful concerts, and the neat thing about it is they're free and open to the public. Anyone can just come right here on campus, right, and listen to the music.
That's right. One of our goals with Preludes was to create a place where the local community could gather and meet visitors from out of town, that there's a weekly place, or even more than weekly place, where the community can gather at the festival, participate in some great music, get to know their neighbors or strangers from out of town a little better, maybe go see the show that night, maybe have a picnic on the lawn, but we wanted it to be a gathering place. Many festivals have a green show, which would be more traditional, maybe Renaissance music, might be sort of a Punch and Judy show. We decided that we really didn't want that kind of Renaissance fair quality. We wanted something that was a little more modern. We thought, well, why not bring in the poets of today, the songwriters of today, who are writing about the things that are on our hearts, love, loss, and have them share their poetry before we go in to hear the great poetry of Shakespeare. And that series has really turned into something that's kind of wonderful. We start with about 50 artists that we'll be looking at, and we slowly narrow it down based on who's going to be touring and how we can fit it into the schedule to 5 main Prelude concerts and then the special evening concert on the levee.
Well, I know you bring some wonderful musicians to the community. I've seen several of them, and they're all fabulous. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about each one of these musicians. For instance, your first one, Romantica. Tell me about that group. They were excellent.
Yeah, Romantica is a band from the Twin Cities. They actually won the Minnesota Music Awards for their genre of music last year. I heard about them actually through someone I know up in the Twin Cities. When I was asking around, I said, who do you think is really great and up and coming that we should be getting to this stage? And Romantica's name came up over and over again. So I went and heard them in concert, exchanged several emails, got one of their CDs, and were very excited when they agreed to come to open up the festival Prelude series this year.
There she goes, she's walking down the boulevard, paying absolutely no regard to the people that she passes through those red-rimmed glasses. And she goes driving down the interstate. She's got the feeling quite irate about her present situation and the lack of her salvation. What can I say to pacify your feeling great? Probably wouldn't matter anyway to a charlatan in the world of fame and fortune. What do you say? We'll go and grab a bite to eat. I know a place on Mersey Street where the lights are hanging low and the atmosphere's got soul. So let's go. We'll maybe catch a movie too.
Romantica was sort of Americana rock. It's a combination of acoustic, a little bit of traditional rock and roll, and a little bit of country mixed in with it. I think they have a really great sound. And actually, the lead singer isn't originally from the United States. He's originally from Ireland.
She looks into the camera. She speaks and I just stutter. I'd like to get to know you, but I'm afraid to show you my sins. So maybe we'd be better off if we tried a different kind of love, where we keep our independence, love each other from a distance. It could be so good. You know, we'd even keep the mystery if you could see inside of me. What a perfect situation. Spaces are in creation. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba da 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 da. Ba da da ba da da ba da ba ba ba.
Well, and you had a delightful artist, a woman, I think her name was Megan Slankard. Let's talk about her.
Yes, Megan was here. She was actually quite a find this year. She's represented by an agency that I was actually working with on another band, and he said, well, why don't I send you this tape of a young artist that we just signed. She's from California, from Berkeley. I think she's really terrific, and her CD that just came out, Freaky Little Story, has been compared to Tori Amos and Annie DeFranco. And so I said, well, sure, send it to me. And I got the CD and I thought, wow, this woman's voice is amazing. When I discovered that she was 21, I was completely blown away. So we started working with her, and she was very excited to be coming out here. She spent the weekend with the company, actually went to a gathering that the Friends of Will, our volunteer group, had put together, and got to meet a bunch of the volunteers. And I have to say that among our apprentices, the younger people who are part of the company, she has been the hit of the summer. A bunch of them, I see them wearing her T-shirts when they're walking around the festival.
This is actually my first time at a Shakespeare festival, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. Gosh darn it. It's been awesome. Everybody's so nice too, so thanks. So I hope you enjoy. Maybe I can bend all the way without breaking slightly. But to tell the truth, I was not born with a string that swings me tightly. I guess bad habits are born. Don't you look so forlorn? If I cannot reach you, I will impeach you and tell you you've done me harm. But if there's a sorry, I misjudged you, I was wrong. It wasn't false alarm. Your sweet beer will open scholar. I wasn't born like yours, no. It's red eyes. When we landed on the ground.
It has a kind of folk art quality to her. She's really in that kind of classic American singer-songwriter vein, you know, starting with Carole King and Joni Mitchell and going through to some more modern people, Suzanne Vega, Tori Amos, and she's got just a slightly rock feel to her. The thing about Meg Slankard, though, is that her voice is so beautiful. I was so surprised to discover that she's so young because she has this incredibly mature, kind of wonderful, clear voice.
Nature's lovely face has been marred. Now we'll do it some wise. When we've landed on the ground, so we've landed on the ground, on the ground. Thank you.
Well, let's talk now about Liz Queller. She's another very interesting artist you brought here.
Yes, Liz is actually returning to Winona. She came here originally with Theater de Mississippi and sang for them, I think it was about 2 years ago. And when we first started talking about Preludes, I had a lot of people from Winona say, could you bring Liz Queller back? And I had never heard her music. Again, I got a sample CD, listened to it, and was really excited about her sort of folk tradition. It was something we didn't have in the Prelude series this year.
Getting here, for some reason, is a real problem. But once you're here, it's very nice. It sparkles in the light, silver air on a snowy night. I wonder why the sky's aglow, but I think I know. One by one they come to rest on a cloudy mountain crest, and I'm buried deep below, but I think I know. Falling like a snowflake, and I'm weightless on the breeze, and I'm falling like an avalanche, and I'm tearing through the trees, and I'm falling like a schoolgirl in Bobby socks and blue, and I'm falling for you.
She's definitely a folk singer, has a beautiful, beautiful voice, and does, I think, something that's really soulful. There's something about her music. I have to say that it's just mesmerizing. She played last weekend, and after one of the songs, there was just silence across the lawn as people just, I think, were completely mesmerized by her voice. It's just incredibly beautiful.
Times at night, I lie awake at night, and I dream you hold me tight. And if you dream that dream by chance, avalanche.
Yeah. Thank you.
People are always asking you to describe yourself, describe your music. There's a concert series in New York that describes me as urban folk. I thought that was kind of creative. So with that in mind, I thought maybe I needed a train song. I always was kind of a little jealous of all the country folk who could write about train songs, so I wrote an ode to my subway line. I'm from Manhattan, folks, in case you didn't know. Take a ride downtown, number 9 downtown. That's how to get there, and that's where I'm going. 'Cause there's a place downtown, open late downtown, and when you get there, you get going. Don't need no kind of high to keep you up all night. I'm feeling fine on the number 9. Gonna ride that train in the thunder and the rain, hear the click, click, clack, clack going down the track, and we'll get there. Ooh, baby, and we'll get there. Don't need no kind of high to keep you up all night. I'm feeling fine on the number 9. We'll catch a late, late show down around Soho, you and me, on the IRT. So take a ride downtown by my side downtown, and when we get there, we'll know it. And when we get there, we'll know it.
Where did you find Kevin Tiesta?
Kevin Tiesta came to us through the Chicago Reader. I called around to music critics from the independent newspapers and all of our surrounding major metropolitan markets. and asked them, who do you know from the region who would make a great concert artist for a small, intimate, outdoor setting, and that would represent some of the best of the Midwest. And the Chicago Reader wrote back to me and said, you know, Kevin Tiesta was on my top 10 list for 2004. He's not very well known in the United States, although he's very popular in Europe right now. And he doesn't perform in public very often. He's very, very shy as a performer. And it actually took some convincing. I had to talk to his agent quite a while, and he finally said, why don't you talk to Kevin?
Well, she just happens to be the greatest thing that the world's probably ever seen. I'm on my knees. She's such a beautiful sight. I know I'm causing a scene. I'm great.
His music is very hard to categorize. He's a singer-songwriter. He's also a little bit in the jazz tradition. Has a little bit of acoustic. If you listen to his full CD, you discover that his musical styles are quite broad. And I think that's part of the reason that the United States audience isn't quite as sure what to do with him, because he doesn't fit neatly into one category. In The Office, he's been very popular this summer. Our interns seem to like him quite a bit. And he's actually on several best-selling lists right now. Amazon.com has been selling quite a few of his Red Terror CD. So we were really excited to have Kevin as part of the Prelude series this year.
Someone write her a poem, please. Someone write her a poem, please. I'll pass it off as if it were from me. I'll pass it off as if it were from me. Mister, won't you tell her that it's really an impossible life, and that the way I feel is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Oh yeah, the way I feel is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. It's gonna take some time, sweet darling. You have to feel pain before you feel the same. It's gonna take some time, sweet darling. You have to turn the page to see the other page. It's gonna take some time, sweet darling. You have to feel pain before you feel again. Yeah, the way I feel is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Oh yeah, the way I feel is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Oh yeah, the way I feel is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Oh yeah, the way I feel is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life.
Well, the last Prelude concert, you have Luce performing. Now, that is a really interesting name, and I'm so anxious to see how many are in the group or what all it means. Tell me about Luce.
Luce is a band that has been around for a while. They're also from California, from the Bay Area. Their music has been heard on television shows like The O.C. They've had music in several movies recently. They have one song that's been in the Adult Alternative Top 40. It's called Good Day. They're definitely an emerging band. They're beginning to catch on. In fact, early on when we were working with them, they were going to be opening for a major concert tour this summer, so we weren't sure we were going to be able to fit them into the schedule.
We are touring across the country right now, and very honored to be here. I picked up my fishing license at the Kmart. So, can you fish here? Are there places? Can I fish in that lake right there? I can? Okay. You catch stuff? All right. I'm going to throw it back, you know. This was a song about my life sort of while I was making the first record and all the work I was doing. It's called Good Day.
Well, I wake up to the sky so blue, and my girlfriend in the other room got the coffee on, the pancakes down, and the cat sleeping outside in the sun. The TV sings just morning blues, and it's all the same with all the news, but she walks up coffee's done and start singing. And she's singing. Says, pretty good day, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Have a pretty good day, yeah. It's a pretty good day, but I'm looking.
Their music has a very kind of upbeat pop sound to it, but their lyrics are a little bit more in depth than that. So it's not your kind of typical pop music that has no depth. There's really kind of a soul to the music of Luz.
It's a pretty good day, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Have a pretty good day, yeah. It's a pretty good day, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Well, Mark, I want to thank you so much for bringing all these wonderful musicians to Winona. What a treat for everybody here.
It's really one of the most enjoyable things that I get to work on during the year. I love the process of finding those artists and matching them up to this community, people that I think our neighbors in Winona will enjoy.
Well, and it was so fun to see the concerts grow. Each one had more and more people. Didn't you find that once the community found out about it, they really were drawn to this spot?
Yeah, people have discovered Preludes. People are also discovering that there's more to do in Winona than just the festival. And so we're working with some of the outfitters in the area. Red Tail Outfitters does a lot of work with festival guests, providing bikes and canoes and kayaks. Several local bed and breakfast owners talk about that the festival season is tiring for them because they have a lot of guests that come in for the weekend, and they stay very, very busy during that time.
Well, you truly have brought in so many things to Winona. It's just been great for the community. Now tell me, what's in store for the future? What can we expect next year and beyond?
We can't grow too fast. We have to be very careful about this because the festival's finances and our audience are sort of fragile right now. We're at that beginning stage, just like any business that's starting out. But our big goal is to be looking at how we can expand the length of the season and then move to 3 or maybe even 4 plays that are running in repertory so people can come and experience several days of seeing plays, spend several days in Winona, spend some time on the river, go shopping downtown. At other festivals, people often go for 3 or 4 days and see 2 or 3 plays and then see the other things in the region. So we're going to be looking at how do we carefully grow this. I do know that next season one thing that we'll be expanding is the education program. And we're also going to do more outreach during the year, doing more work with schools in the region during the school year. So that's something that I know will be expanding in the short term.
Excellent. How exciting for us. Thank you so much, Mark.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for joining me today. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.